All these men were under the direction of their fathers as they made music at the house of the Lord. Their responsibilities included the playing of cymbals, harps, and lyres at the house of God. Asaph, Jeduthun, and Heman reported directly to the king. They and their families were all trained in making music before the Lord, and each of them, 288 in all, was an accomplished musician. Musicians were appointed to their term of service by means of sacred lots, without regard to whether they were young or old, teacher or student, trained in making music before the Lord, and they were all accomplished musicians. It's probably a lot easier to learn about music when you're surrounded by people, and family in particular, who already do a lot with music. Like, I've seen strong correlations there between, like, if there's somebody in the family who plays music, especially if there's more than one person in the family who plays music, it's a whole lot more likely that other people within the family are going to be musicians. What's up, cool people? My name's Matt. Welcome back to our Bible study. Alrighty, so we're looking at 1 Chronicles chapter 25. The past couple of chapters have been really just kind of about reassigning duties of the priests and the Levites and basically anybody who would have been serving in the tabernacle previously and or the temple, you know, once that gets built. Because, like, otherwise the stage is totally set for the temple building. And if it seems odd and you're thinking, wait, didn't they already build the temple? Yes, they did, but this is 1 Chronicles. The 1st and 2nd Chronicles were written after the Israelites were exiled from their homeland, and this is kind of a recap of a bunch of those things, filling in maybe some more details than we got before, but it's meant essentially to serve as a way of telling the exiles, hey, here's how we got into this situation. Here's a bunch of what happened in the lead up to it, including, you know, what should have happened and how things would have gone, how we messed it up, and how we can get back to things being good again. Spoiler alert, it's all about, you know, worshiping God properly. So, we're looking at these temple-related duties and how they're being assigned / reassigned. And it looks like we're going to get more of that in this chapter. So here we go. 1 Chronicles chapter 25. David and the army commanders then appointed men from the families of Asaph, Heman, and Jeduthun to proclaim God's messages to the accompaniment of lyres, harps, and cymbals. Here is a list of their names and their work. From the sons of Asaph, there were Zechar, Joseph, Nethaniah, and Asarela. Something like that. They worked under the direction of their father Asaph, who proclaimed God's messages by the king's orders. From the sons of Jeduthun, there were Gedaliah, Zerai, Jeshaiah, Shimei, Hashabiah, and Mattathiah, 6 in all. They worked under the direction of their father Jeduthun, who proclaimed God's messages to the accompaniment of the lyre, offering thanks and praise to the Lord. Just the lyre. Okay, so I guess maybe that was their instrument of specialization there, or instrument of focus, you might say. Maybe we'll get others that focus on the harps and cymbals and whatnot. But yeah, so, unsurprisingly, given that subheading, this is talking about musicians and what all they're going to do. Now, it's using the wording proclaim God's messages. But it's to the accompaniment of music, so I would think of this almost more like either hymns or almost even like almost chants, potentially. I'm not entirely sure which would be a more accurate sense of it, but like, I know there are some denominations where you get very, like, chant type singing within the liturgy, and like there's very almost ritualistic things about how certain things are like proclaimed, but in like a somewhat singing kind of voice. I actually interned at a church where the one service, at least, they did that kind of thing. So that's more so the picture I get. I wouldn't think it would be as much along the lines of what would be considered more like contemporary worship music. But in any case, there was still also like a worship aspect to it. Because, I mean, yes, proclaiming God's messages is part of it, but it's also in a way like honoring and sometimes even praising God wrapped up in that. So anyway, note there it's shimmy, as in one Hebrew manuscripts and some Greek. Most Hebrew manuscripts lack shimmy, but then 1, 2, 3, 4. Then there would only be then there would only be 5 sons mentioned, not 6. So, if the translation still also says 6 in all, without mentioning Shimei, then that's a bit confusing. Anyway, let me not dwell on that too long. Just translation notes and whatnot. Continuing on. Verse 4. From the sons of Heman, there were Bechiah, Mattaniah, Uzziel, Shubael, Jeremoth, Hanani, Eliathah, Gidalti, something like that, I don't know. Romamti Ezer, Joshbekashah, okay, Melothai, Hothir, and Mahazaioth. All these were the sons of Heman, King Seir, for God had honored him with 14 sons and 3 daughters. Okay, yeah, that explains all the names there, just connected with him. But it's not really saying much about what they did connected with all this. That's what honestly bugged me a little bit about the last chapter. It's like, it just spent the whole time talking about the method in which the duties were assigned, but not the actual duties that were assigned. But anyway, whatever. No, not going to dwell on that too long. Hebrew says Shebuel, variant spelling. Compare chapter 25, verse 20. So maybe the name comes up again, and in the later verse, it's just outright spelled Shubael. Anyway, verse 6. All these men were under the direction of their fathers as they made music at the house of the Lord. Their responsibilities included the playing of cymbals, harps, and lyres at the house of God. Asaph, Jeduthun, and Heman reported directly to the king. They and their families were all trained in making music before the Lord, and each of them, 288 in all, was an accomplished musician. The musicians were appointed to their term of service by means of sacred lots, without regard to whether they were young or old, teacher or student. Okay, and then we're going to get into the order of the lots being cast. Before that, though, I'm just going to highlight that it says they were all trained. Yeah, right there. Trained in making music before the Lord. And they were all accomplished musicians. So, I wonder if they, after that, then, like, kind of kept training among themselves and, like, you know, since that was their assigned duty, you would think they would be kind of obligated to do that even throughout later generations. And then, like, with that being the case, it's like, well, we don't want to do this poorly. Plus, I mean, you know, we've got older generations already playing music, and it makes for an easy segue into learning how to play more music. So, you know, it's not that difficult to believe. They just kind of kept it going, at least until the exile. It kept it going within those same families, I mean. I will say, it's probably a lot easier to learn about music when you're surrounded by people, and family in particular, who already do a lot with music. Like, I've seen strong correlations there between, like, if there's somebody in the family who plays music, especially if there's more than one person in the family who plays music, it's a whole lot more likely that other people within the family are going to be musicians. So anyway, alright, so now we get to the order in which the order in which the lots were cast for the different divisions of duties, starting in verse 9. The first lot fell to Joseph of the Asaph clan, and 12 of his sons and relatives. The second lot fell to Gedaliah, and 12 of his sons and relatives. Third lot fell to Zachar, and 12 of his sons and relatives. Fourth lot fell to Zerai, and 12 of his sons and relatives. Fifth lot fell to Nethaniah, and 12 of his sons and relatives. I wonder if it's all going to be 12 of... Anyway. Sixth lot fell to Bukiah, 12 of his sons and relatives. Seventh lot fell to Asarallah, and 12 of his sons and relatives. Eighth lot fell to Jeshaiah, and 12 of his sons and relatives. Ninth lot fell to Mattaniah, and associated people. I'm just like, I'm getting tired of reading, and 12 sons and relatives. Honestly. The 10th lot fell to Shimei, and relatives. 11th fell to Uzziel, and relatives. 12th lot fell to Hashabiah. 13th fell to Shubael. If it changes at all, I'll let you know. The 14th lot fell to Mattathiah. 15th lot fell to Jeremoth. 16th to Hananiah. 17th fell to Man, that's a heck of a name there. Joshbekashah. And 12 of his sons and relatives. 18th lot fell to Hanani. 19th fell to Malathi? I don't know. The 20th lot fell to Eliathah. 21st to Hothir. 22nd to Gedalti. 23rd lot fell to Mahazioth. And the 24th lot fell to Romam to Ezer. And 12 of his sons and relatives. It was 12 sons and relatives in every single case. So it mentioned 288 in all. I mean, 24 times 12. Yeah, that fits. I guess maybe the people themselves are being included in the 12 sons and relatives, though, for that to actually work out that way. But with that being the case, yes, the math is mathing. And so it mentioned 14 sons up here from Heman. There were, that's 6, 20, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, okay. Not that I doubted it all checking out. That's just how my brain works. There are numbers involved, and I'm like wanting to double check the numbers. Shoot, my job nowadays is pretty much all about counting things out and making sure that we get the proper quantities where they need to go. Anyway, couple of notes here mostly connected with particular names. Although this one says, as in the Greek version, Hebrew lacks and 12 of his sons and relatives. Makes me wonder if the following verses would have lacked that phrase as well. But in any case, in order for it to be 288 in all, the whole 12 relatives thing just fits mathematically. Alright. Note there, it's Zerai. Hebrew says Isri. Variant spelling. Which, it's ancient Hebrew was a very different language. It's even just in the general structure of words, it was very different. So even if there was just something that would represent what we consider Z, R, and some I type sound after that, or I don't know, if I remember correctly, which I've said this a bunch, so I'm hoping I remember correctly on this, ancient Hebrew basically didn't even have vowels. So you'd kind of have to fill in the vowel sounds in and around the letters that were there. Which makes it very easy for there to be Isri and Israi, whatever, and Zerai being variant spellings of the same name, because it's like, well, this is just a different way of filling in the vowels. Anyway, okay. Note here at Asarala, Hebrew says Jesarala, variant spelling, compared to 25 verse 2, which, okay, I mean, if that was spelled that way, then they're keeping it consistent. The translators are keeping it consistent here. Alright, note there, Uzziel, Hebrew says Azarel, variant spelling, Jeremoth, Hebrew spells it with a second E, rather than an I there. Hebrew there has Josh Bekasha without the H at the end. But, I mean, come on. That's the most understandable variant spelling ever. Like how there's Sarah with an H and without an H. Anyway, okay. And it still doesn't, within this casting of lots, say who exactly did what. Although we did get an explanation as far as up here about, some of them specifically being accompanied by the lyre. I would assume that means that they are the ones who used that instrument. Whatever the case is. So, yeah. We've had the Levites, and then the priests, and now the musicians. And their duty is being reassigned in relation to transitioning from the tabernacle to the temple. But that's all we get for 1 Chronicles 25. Alright, so we've got more dividing of duties and such, just as things transition from the tabernacle to the temple. This time it focused on the musicians. So we've had the Levites, the priests, and the musicians. We've maybe got a couple more roles to take care of. But I don't think there's going to be a whole lot more chapters of just this kind of thing. We'll see as we continue, though. So, as always, like and share if you enjoyed the video and want others to see it. Subscribe to the channel and click the bell to get updates when I post new videos. Look down in the description for links to social media pages and all sorts of other good stuff like that. Discord server where you can chat about stuff anytime, and also have a nice focused way of keeping up with different kinds of videos and stuff like that, if you want. Of course, there's a link to my supporter page down in the description as well, where you can help out with what I'm doing, sign up for a membership, and then get a little bit of extra stuff in return, like, you know, early video access, if that's your kind of thing. Maybe some shout-outs in some videos as well. Honestly, it's been so long since I set those up, I forget exactly some of the rewards and whatnot. So, feel free to, you know, do that stuff and help me remember, because then I'll have to look it up. But anyway, if you just want to leave your thoughts or questions related to this in particular, especially if it's related to this chapter, but really anything that's on your mind, put it down in the comment section below the video. So that's going to do it for now. Hope you're all doing well. Hopefully I'll see you soon for another video. But whatever the case is, until next time, stay cool, people.